Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville. Women's Wrestling Lives here, and welcome to part 2 of WrestleMania 39 figure reveals. So I did release a part 1, so make sure to go back and check that out if you didn't catch it yet. And after that video was posted, there were so many more reveals shown this past weekend, and in this video, I'm going to cover all of them. Now, obviously, women's wrestling lives here, so we're going to start off with all the women's wrestling figure reveals that I didn't previously cover in that first video and look at them in detail. And then I'm going to cover briefly all the other reveals, all the men's figures and everything. So I'm real excited. So without further ado, let's dive right in with a very special one for your boy. Okay. No one wants to see me that large. Let's shrink me down. There we go. Dakota Kai Elite Series 104. Anyone that watches LumberJillville knows that I am in love with Dakota Kai. Everyone's got their wrestler crush. She's mine. She's beautiful. She's talented. She's amazing. And this figure looks fantastic. It really does. A lot of people were complaining about that facial expression, but I love it. I love it because she's very animate and gives different facial expressions and whatnot. That's what gives her personality. And I love that this figure has that personality. Now, the hair, fantastic. The attire, fantastic. The body sculpt even looks bigger because the previous Dakota Kai Elite had real short, kind of squatty legs, and she has longer legs, and it looks like they fixed it here. So we'll obviously wait and see until the final product comes out, but this looks great in my opinion. This is the most anticipated Elite for me personally that's going to be coming out. I'm going to order so many of these because, like I said, Dakota Kai, I love Dakota Kai. Love her. In love with her as well. What? All right, moving on. Here's that Dakota Kai figure in the test shot phase. So we can see on the left here zoomed out, and on the right it's more zoomed in close. And I think the expression looks great. I love that hair sculpt. I can't wait to see how the coloring comes out. And what's cool, she has like a little sculpted piece around her waist that goes down to the leg. So once again, test shots are kind of when they use whatever color plastic they have and piece it together to see how it looks and whatnot. I have a Nikki Bella test shot, and this is that Dakota Kai test shot. So just to give us an idea of what the final product's going to look like as far as sculpting goes. And this figure has some pretty good detailed sculpting. Moving on, we have my shirt, the EST of WWE, Miss Bianca Belair. Now, this is an ultimate, and I have been twiddling my thumbs, waiting for a female ultimate to be announced this past weekend. I was actually getting pretty annoyed, pretty angry about it. And here, we finally got one. And y'all, this looks like a banger of an ultimate. It looks great. And she is so deserving of an ultimate figure. Now, what I like about this is I've said before with her elites and her basics especially, like she deserves a unique body sculpt for her. And she hasn't got that. And it's ridiculous to me that arguably the biggest female star in the company, one of the biggest stars, period, doesn't have a unique body sculpt. But here looks to be a big improvement over her previous figures. The legs definitely look more defined, more muscular. And the midsection does look more muscular, but it still seems a little too narrow, I guess. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll wait till the final product. Now, because this is an ultimate, we get an extra head, we get a bow, sunglasses, earrings, extra hands, and check this out, y'all. We get this entrance coat. It is fantastic, and it is spot on to the night that she wore this. So, yeah, we definitely get a lot. This looks like an excellent ultimate. I cannot wait to order multiple of these because I know my daughter's going to want one, and I'm going to need at least 2. So once these go up on ringside, which this was also revealed as Ultimate Series 20. So take for what that is. I believe Ultimate Series 18 is the one that's on ringside right now. I don't think anyone knows who's an Ultimate Series 19. And no, 17 is up, and that is the Andre and Seth Rollins. So Ultimate Edition 18, I think they've announced. I think it's the Macho Man and somebody else. I'm not going to spend all the time thinking about that. And then 19, we don't know, but this is 20. So that's interesting. So here we have Charlotte Flair. Now, this is a Charlotte Elite, and I'm a little nervous because, obviously we don't see soft goods in these images, and this figure needs to have a soft goods robe. It needs to, because she hasn't had that many robes included in her figures. And like that Elite 92, I believe it was, is just bare. It looks naked almost, right? It definitely feels like it's missing something, and it's missing a robe. And the robe that she wore on this night is a black robe, and I think they can definitely pull it off. And if they do, this figure is going to be amazing, in my opinion. It's going to be real sharp. Now, this is going to be in the Survivor Series Elite line. So last year we got that Becky Lynch in the red, and here we're going to get the Charlotte in the black, and hopefully we get that black robe. But we have the test shot here. Kind of can see that top on the right up close, how it is a newly sculpted top. And the face does look the same as what we've gotten before, which is fine. They've done really good on her face sculpt and scan, but the hair's different, and that's really cool. Now, the only thing about these like one-off figures, like that's the only time I remember her having that hairstyle. So it's cool that we're getting it in figure form, but it is such a niche look, I guess you could say, right? You see what I'm trying to say there? But it looks excellent. I can't wait to get it. Big fan of Charlotte, big fan of this figure. And I'm going to have to delay the Charlotte Flair figure history now that they announced this one. Moving on, y'all, this is the figure of the whole showing, in my opinion. This looks fantastic. Now, in the tags on ringsidecollectibles.com, it said Elite. This looks like an ultimate. Now, only because there's so much going on with this figure with the sculpted top, the soft goods, that headpiece. So I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I would guess that this was an Ultimate Edition 19 because we haven't heard who's in Series 19. And the fact that Bianca seems a little far away from production, we haven't seen actual final products like this. This tells me that this is going to be Ultimate Edition 19. So I think they might have been off by saying it was an Elite. I could be wrong here, but this to me speaks Ultimate. So I'm so excited for this. Let's look at some other pictures here. So up close. Now on the right here, we can see underneath that, yes, this looks like an excellent Becky Lynch scan. You know, no disrespect to Series 100, but yikes. You know what I mean? Like, it does look better in person, but those eyes are just, they stare into your soul. But here it looks like a great scan, unique hair sculpt. That headpiece looks beautifully crafted. And that entrance top with that skirt kind of tapered out there, that looks fantastically sculpted. And we can't even see what her attire looks like underneath, but it looks like it has a lot of paint deco. So yeah, like I said, I imagine this is actually an Ultimate and not an Elite, like what was said in the comments. And if I had to guess, I would predict this was Ultimate Edition 19. So I think this will come out before Bianca. But yeah, I cannot wait for this. I don't need to get many of these because my daughter has a grudge against Bianca because she beat Charlotte like years ago. Next up, we have Beth Phoenix. Now this look, when she, I believe is the Royal Rumble, made her return with Edge, I guess a couple years ago now, she had this hairstyle and boy, she looked awesome. And I commented maybe on Ringside, maybe on WWE. I said, yeah, we need this in figure form right now. And here it is. We are getting it in figure form. And the first thing I thought when I saw her was, that is the most toyetic look for a women's wrestling figure. We need it in figure form. It looks like we're getting it. And this is going to be in the Royal Rumble Elite Series. I believe she teamed up with Edge and faced off in a mixed tag team match. But yeah, this Beth Phoenix looks cool. I mean, I can't wait to see the final product. Here's the test shot example here. So as we can see, that hair is what really stands out. Super detailed, super cool. And yeah, we'll see what the finished product looks like. Next, we have Io Sky. Now, I don't believe that they announced what series this was in, but they did just announce Elite. And anyone that, once again, watches LumberJillville or knows that, like, Io Shirai, Io Sky, whatever you want to call her, she's my favorite wrestler, maybe of all time. And what I mean by that is her in-ring work. I can watch an Io Shirai match every day of the week and never get sick of her. She's my favorite wrestler. Now I have a lot of quote unquote favorites, but she is number one as far as who I think is the best wrestler and my favorite wrestler to watch. I mean, when she's in the ring, I'm just locked on. She's awesome. And this looks great. Now her previous Elite won the LJV Figure of the Year for 2020. And that was 79, Elite 79. So it's been a little while since we've got a Io Shirai Elite. And my cat's meowing in the background, but this is kind of live. Hey. That's embarrassing. Yeah, she's got a toy or something. But anyway, this is the first Io Sky figure that we're gonna get, and I'm really excited. Now, this, if it turns out anything like the Elite 79 figure, this is gonna be figure of the year, like hands down, because that Elite 79 is one of, if not my favorite women's elites of all time. So this looks great. Tons of sculpted detail. The face sculpt looks good. We'll wait to see how the final paint looks, but I think it's gonna be excellent. I can't wait. Now, here we go. This is a big one here. And this is going to be the first female retro. Now, I know there are companies out there making their own retros, and some of them have produced females. I recently reviewed the Cella Bulnacano. There's no way around it. That figure sucks, in my opinion. It's so undersized. It's just cheap feeling. It feels like a Happy Meal toy, and it's like 40 bucks, 35 bucks, whatever it is. It's overpriced. So all these companies doing that, that's great. But in my opinion, the only true way to get a Hasbro retro style women's figure would be through the WWE Mattel line, and we're finally getting a female in that line, and it's Wendy Richter. And who better than that? I cannot wait to get this figure. Now, this is going to be available on MattelCreations.com, which we'll talk about a little later with some crowdfunding stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to have the first female retro, and who more deserving than her? Yeah, I'm ecstatic about this. I'm just going to have anxiety when it goes up on Mattel Creations about it selling out. Because I'm sure it's going to be included with Hogan and whoever else. That's kind of how they sold them in like 4-packs. But either way, love it. Can't wait. Next up, we have a Ronda Rousey basic. Now, this looks like a new hair sculpt, maybe a new face sculpt, a little more smirky, a little heelish. Ronda is what we got going on here. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I have a Ronda shelf, so I'll be excited for that. Let's just hope that this figure is better than her performance in the Women's Showcase WrestleMania Night 2 match. Nothing against her, but she just didn't really do anything. Oh, no. Anyway, I love Ronda. So moving on. All right, now let's get into the men's figures. If you only care about women's figures, have a great night. Sending you love. Thanks for watching. But now let's cover the men's figures, and let's try to breeze through this. Now, I did try to organize this a little bit. So on the left here, it's not me in face paint, like some people thought the initial Stardust from Elite 103 is. This is actually Cody Rhodes in face paint, and it is the Elite 103 Chase. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it looks cool. I think this one's going to be hot. That Chase is going to sell out in minutes, in my opinion. I do think I'll get the regular version because it does kind of look like me, and that'd be hilarious to use that head on a custom Mayor Aaron and just keep the face paint on. Next up, we have AJ Styles from Elite Series 104. So once again, that Dakota Kai series. Very cool. Next, oh boy. We have Solo Sikoa from Elite 104. This is causing a ruckus in the wrestling figure community here. And that's because they chose like the smallest torso. And they did show a test shot that's not in the slideshow, but the torso is tiny. It's like a cruiserweight torso, I guess you could say. And he's a thicker, wider man. Now, the reasoning, I have to wonder that sometimes when these shirts, whether it's soft goods, hard goods, what are included, they shrink down the waist and everything so that everything fits on. So I don't know if that's the reasoning, but boy, horrible part choices, in my opinion, for that torso. That might be changed. Who knows? But either way, it's going to sell. I mean, people are hot on the bloodline, and you have to have Solo if you're going to do that. Next, we have a Drew McIntyre. Now, this is going to be Elite 104 as well. Y'all, there's so many Drews on my shelf. I feel like there's more Drews at my Walmarts and Targets year-round than any other superstar. It used to be AJ Styles years ago when I started the channel, and now it's Drew. I'm just over it. And I like Drew. Next up, we have Braun Breaker Elite 104. So once again, that Dakota Kai series. We have the regular and the Chase. I don't know which is which, to be honest with you. We're just going to guess that the one on the left here, the real crazy ones, is the regular, and the one in the pink is the Chase. I'm not sure which one's regular, which one's a Chase, but what really stands out here is the NXT title looks to be the new design, kind of the pearlescent on the gold there. But we will see, obviously once we see final products and see how it is, and hopefully we get the new NXT Women's Championship coming soon. But yeah, these look good. Next up, we have Johnny Gargano, Elite 105. Looks very cool. Maybe a new face sculpt and scan that's coming with this figure, but either way, his figures are always really cool. Next up, we have, now these are listed as Ultimate Edition 20. Now, here's my theory. I think one of these is an Ultimate Edition 19 with that Becky Lynch. Now, quote me on that because this is all conspiracy theory, but because these two were listed as Ultimate Edition 20 and Bianca's listed as Ultimate Edition 20, and they usually don't do Ultimate Editions in 3s, it's in 2s. So I think one of these is going to come out in 19 and with Becky, and one of these is going to come in 20 with Bianca. I could be completely wrong. But we got Kurt Angle, who they did show with a soft goods singlet, which is cool because it looks like you take that off and you have an attire underneath. He has some gold medals, some pretty funny faces there, and the old Winged Eagle. Then we have Bobby Lashley, one of my favorite wrestlers there with the U.S. Championship, a t-shirt, and a bunch of different faces. And, I love Bobby Lashley, but how many Bobbies do we need, y'all? That's kind of the same thing with Drew. I started collecting all the Bobbies, and I was like, what am I doing? They all look the same. Now, here we do have some different head sculpts, and they look amazing. And I'm saying all this, and I'll probably get the Bobby Ultimate because I am a fan of Bobby Lashley. I think he's great. Moving on, we have Dominic Mysterio. Now, they put him in a John Cena shirt because it kind of simulates that he's getting a soft goods shirt, I guess. He's got the mullet, y'all. He's got the mullet. That's going to be a hot seller. Now, his first figure, surprisingly, I had it and opened it, and my daughter loves it, and she doesn't even watch Dominic Mysterio at all on TV. And that figure is a hot seller. If you go on eBay right now, it might be up there in price, and it's kind of crazy to think. But either way, this is going to be a hot selling figure without a doubt, no matter what the final product looks like. It's a test shot. We have Braun Strowman. It's going to peg warm. I'm sorry. It's going to peg warm. Next up, we have Rocky Maivia. That looks cool. They did release this in Elite Series before, but it might be hard to get. I'm not too sure. And this looks great. I think that's great. Anyone that collects Rock figures, this looks fantastic. Next up, we have a Stone Cold Steve Austin Elite. This is a classic Stone Cold look with the short jean. Oh, the short jean shorts. I love it. Double knee braces, the Austin 316 shirt. That looks fantastic. Next up, we have some test shots of some elites. We have Brock Lesnar and Batista. Not much to say there. Oh, next up, we have Carmelo Hayes, who, when I had a fantasy NXT lineup for figures I wanted to see, Carmelo Hayes was in that fantasy lineup. I think he's awesome. I think he's toyetic, and here we go. I mean, look how cool this figure looks, and it's not even painted. It's just a test shot. But that's going to be an excellent figure. I probably will get that one. That's one of the few male figures that we're covering that I have to get. I have to get a Carmelo Hayes. Next up, we have a Hogan American Made Elite. We can't have enough Hogans, right? No, I'm just kidding. I think we have too many. Next up, moving on from Hogan, we have Ridge Holland. Now, this is cool because look at that hat and look at that soft goods coat. Looks pretty neat. And then we have Virgil. Now, Virgil is going to be a Build-A-Figure. I'm not sure in what set. Maybe I'm not sure what set, but he is going to be a Build-A-Figure. And it looks like he's going to be in his ring attire. So he did have a previous, I believe it was a Toys R Us exclusive in his suit. And that's not this one. This one is in wrestling attire from what I can tell from the test shot here. Next up, we have some basics to cover. We have a Cody Rhodes in a suit. We have a Tommaso Ciampa, Rey Mysterio, and Randy Orton. We have the Usos. Now, I should have taken notes here. This is going to be an Ultimate Edition 2-pack. It might be a ringside exclusive. It's going to be cool. I mean, I think the Usos are very, very toyetic, but right now, the way that they've released them since they've been in the bloodline, it's kind of like you have to get one from this series to match one from this series a year ago, or this one in a future series to match the one that just came out. But these two are all matching, all ready to go. And I think they look fantastic. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about these figures. I think they look great. I think they look like really cool Ultimate Editions here. Next up, we have the Superstars line. Now, some people were grouping these with the Hogan and Richter, which were retros, and saying, oh, they're doing a Rock and Wrestling 4-pack. But that wouldn't make sense because these are the Superstars figures, and that Hogan and Wendy Richter are actually on the retro style. But either way, so the Superstars figures, we have Captain Lou Albano. Okay, you know what I mean? I don't know what to say there. And then we have Vader. Yeah, and some of these I just have nothing much to say. I just want to show you images here. Next, we got KO. Now, what's funny is I know KO has had a couple figures released with non-black shirts, I think. But he's had so many figures and so many look the exact same. They've changed the scan and sculpt over the years a little bit, but his attire is very uniform, and the only thing that really changes is the t-shirt logo. And I think it's kind of hilarious. I saw someone's entire Kevin Owens collection once. He collected every Kevin Owens figure released so far, and it was hilarious because it looks like putting a bunch of stormtroopers on a shelf. It was just like all the same, almost all the same figure. But you know what? Whoever that was out there that collects all of Kevin Owens figures, I think that's awesome. And now you get one in a red shirt, and you get one that gets to stand in the front and say, I'm wearing a red shirt, and this is where I belong. Like I said, I know he's probably had some other figures that weren't in a black t-shirt, but most of them are. So I love Kevin Owens though. So that's cool. I'm glad to be getting a Kevin Owens. I probably won't pick it up, but it's cool to get another one. Anyway, Jerry Lawler here. That looks like a pretty cool elite. A lot of accessories. The last one we got was way back in the day. What was that? Elite 81, 82-ish. I think it was 82, but it's been a minute. So I know a lot of people are looking forward to that one there. Next up, now this Davey Boy is going to be a Build-A-Figure. People are hot about this figure, and I get it. This like simulates his, I want to say his early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s WWE return run, I think. And yeah, a lot of people are going to be after that figure. So very cool for those people. Next, we got Sean in the poopy brown tights and the berries and cream Starburst commercial haircut. That's an iconic look. I'm not sure if Mattel's done that look. I could be wrong. I know Jax did. But it's kind of an infamous look for him. And they actually look like they executed it pretty well. And I think this is the last image. It is. Now, this is a Mattel Creations future project, as far as I know. Now, we know about the entrance stage. It's been hammered to death on YouTube channels and Instagram and everything. So y'all see that. I haven't posted my feelings on it because it's $400. Like, the toy is worth $400, none. But anyway, if you get that stage, then you're probably going to want this, an authentic scale Nitro ring, which looks great, and an Eric Bischoff Ultimate. Now, if I had to compare this to anything, it's probably going to be a lot like that Kane that came with the Attitude era ring. It's the same thing. We get an Eric Bischoff Ultimate with a Nitro ring. So I don't know if this is going to be a Mattel Creations exclusive or a Ringside deal, because I know Ringside had that Kane ring. But either way, if you are backing that Nitro entrance, you need to get this ring. I think that's why I've stayed away from even thinking about backing that Nitro entrance, because, this is going to be probably close to $200. So that's like $600 for a stage ring. Like, bro. But if anyone can afford it and they're going to back it, that's awesome. Happy for you. Back to me, y'all. And so, yeah, that was the rest of the reveals. I didn't screenshot like every single image that I came across, but I tried to cover everything that was shown, because there were a lot of really cool reveals, and I'm super excited, y'all. I think the figure I'm most excited about, obviously, is that Dakota Kai Elite 104. It looks fantastic. I love Dakota. I'm stoked for that. But I'm also really intrigued to see if that Becky Lynch is indeed an Ultimate Edition figure, or if it's an Elite. Because if it's an Elite, I've never seen an Elite with so many accessories and details. Like, there's no way that's an Elite, right? I'd be floored if it is, but I have a feeling it's an Ultimate. But I'm looking forward to that Becky and Bianca, both of those Ultimates, because we haven't had a female Ultimate since Alexa Bliss. And I reviewed that one over a year, almost a year and a half ago. So I'm stoked for these pre-orders to start popping up, and I'm excited to review these in LumberJillville. So with that being said, stay tuned. There should be a lot of very brand new women's wrestling figures arriving in LumberJillville, which means we will be having reviews coming out. By we, I mean me and co-mayor Alexa, my co-mayor, Mayor's on a Mission tag team, me and her, we are champions. I'm rambling now, but I appreciate y'all watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what your favorite reveal was, what you're looking forward to the most. I would love to see it. But stay tuned, more content to come. Have a great night, y'all.